Welcome back, lifers, to another episode of Life Points with Rhonda, the podcast that helps you navigate life's challenges with practical wisdom and actionable advice, where we discuss important topics that affect our everyday lives. Today, I'm speaking to the ladies, and ladies, our topic for today is Simon Hayut, aka Simon Leviev, the tale of a swindler. Early life in Ramat El-Khanan laid the groundwork for his future exploits. The son of the chief rabbi of El Al Airlines, his upbringing was steeped in religious tradition. However, Leviev was drawn to a different path. At 15, he moved to Brooklyn, New York, and soon showed signs of the deceptive behavior that would define his adult life. Early accusations of credit card misuse and minor cons set the stage for more significant criminal activities. Leviev's criminal career escalated in his early 20s. Charged with theft, forgery, and fraud in Israel, he showed an early penchant for deceit. His methods were simple yet effective, stealing checkbooks, forging checks, and escaping authorities with fake passports. His escape to Europe marked the beginning of a spree of more ambitious and heartless scams. Using the dating app Tinder, Leviev, now masquerading as the son of a diamond mogul, lured unsuspecting women with his charm and apparent wealth. He presented himself as a jet-setting entrepreneur, wooing women with extravagant dates and lavish gifts. But this facade was funded by money swindled from previous victims, a classic Ponzi scheme. The true cost of Leviev's actions lay in the emotional and financial devastation of his victims. Women across Europe were drawn into his web of lies, believing they had found love and companionship. Instead, they were left with broken hearts and crippling debts. Their stories shed light on the vulnerability and trust that Leviev exploited mercilessly. Leviev's house of cards began to collapse in 2019 when he was apprehended by Interpol in Greece. His subsequent trial and conviction peeled back the layers of his deception, revealing the extent of his manipulation and fraud. Yet, even in downfall, Leviev's story was marked by audacity and controversy, from his early release due to the pandemic to his continued denial of his crimes. The aftermath of Leviev's actions offers a moment of reflection on the nature of trust, love, and vulnerability in the age of online dating. His victims, in reclaiming their lives, provide lessons in resilience and caution. Meanwhile, Leviev's continued notoriety, including his relationship with Israeli model Kate Conlon, paints a portrait of a man undeterred by societal norms and legal boundaries. The story of Simon Leviev is more than a tale of a con man, it's a reflection of our times. In a world where online personas can be as deceiving as they are real, Leviev's story serves as a reminder of the need for vigilance and the importance of listening to our instincts. His narrative is not just about the crimes he committed, but also about the resilience of those he deceived, and the ongoing battle between deceit and truth in our increasingly interconnected world. The Tinder Trap unfolds. In January 2018, Cecilia Fjellhøy, a 29-year-old Norwegian graduate student living in London, found herself navigating the familiar terrain of dating apps. Among the myriad profiles, one stood out: Simon Leviev, a man whose allure lay not just in his looks but in the lifestyle he portrayed. He was the embodiment of success and luxury, a stark contrast to the typical profiles that populated these apps. Their romance was a whirlwind of opulence and charm. Leviev whisked Cecilia away on private jets to luxury hotels, enveloping her in a world far removed from her everyday life. His vulnerability, interspersed with displays of wealth and power, painted him as a man to be both adored and protected. Cecilia, swept up in this fairy tale, found herself deeply invested, emotionally and, as it would turn out, financially. The web of deception. Leviev's narrative to Cecilia was that of a billionaire's son, constantly in danger due to his family's diamond business. His requests for financial assistance started small but soon ballooned into significant sums. He convinced Cecilia to take out an American Express credit card, which he used extravagantly, racking up $250,000 in expenses. The facade of a payslip from his company further enabled this spending spree, all under the guise of protecting him from his so-called enemies. But Simon Leviev was a facade. In reality, he was Shimon Hayut, an Israeli fraudster whose deception knew no bounds. His operation was elaborate, complete with fake assistants and bodyguards lending credibility to his fabricated world. A pattern of victims. As Cecilia's world crumbled with the realization of the con, Leviev had already moved on to another victim, Pernilla Sjöholm. The pattern was the same: a whirlwind romance, a tale of danger and vulnerability, and financial exploitation. Pernilla, like Cecilia, was drawn into Leviev's intricate web of lies, finding herself emotionally and financially entangled. Hayut's modus operandi was consistent. He targeted successful, independent women using their strength and compassion against them. His charm and apparent vulnerability masked a calculated and cold-hearted strategy to defraud and manipulate. The fall and limited justice. The net began to close on Hayut in November 2019. Thanks to the efforts of his victims, who bravely collaborated with the police, Hayut was finally apprehended. However, the aftermath was bittersweet. While he was imprisoned for 18 months, the charges did not include defrauding Cecilia, Pernilla, and the other women he had manipulated. They were left to grapple with the financial and emotional fallout of his actions. Hayut served only 5 months of his sentence, released early amidst the pandemic. His release was a harsh reminder of the limited justice served in their case. The women he deceived were left to rebuild their lives, burdened with debt and the scars of betrayal. Reflections on the so-called Tinder Swindler. The story of the Tinder Swindler, as sensational as it is, echoes a timeless narrative of deceit and manipulation. Hayut's ability to craft convincing online personas, his exploitation of emotional vulnerabilities, and his manipulation of trust highlight the dark underbelly of the digital age. For Cecilia, Pernilla, and the others, their journey was not just about financial loss, but about the emotional turmoil of being deceived at such a profound level. Their resilience in the face of this deceit serves as a testament to their strength and a warning about the dangers lurking in the virtual world of online dating. As we navigate our digital lives, the tale of the Tinder Swindler serves as a reminder of the need for vigilance and the importance of listening to our instincts. It's a narrative that intertwines human psychology, technology, and the timeless dance of trust and betrayal. Now, ladies, there are so many different lessons we can learn from this tale of thievery and deception. He was a player who played a mean game. I read a great deal of comments where the community around the world has been divided, and so some of the comments were brutal, more so to these 3 women who just literally should have known better, but all 3 seemed to be blinded by the sheer thought of thinking that their Prince Charming had arrived. With so many red flags, but not one of these women thought to take a step back and listen to their own intuition, which had to be screaming, and if not, just double wow. The whole GoFundMe was just a bit much, and this is where I give my opinion, which I rarely do. He is accused of swindling over $10 million from various women, and it seems as though he used the exact same line to all of his victims. And to add insult to injury, this guy spent 5 months behind bars for an unrelated crime and literally bossed right back up. While these women have to get the bag from GoFundMe? What is wrong with this picture? In an era where online dating has blurred the lines between reality and illusion, the story of Simon Hayut, infamously known as the Tinder Swindler, emerges as a cautionary tale. At its core, this saga encapsulates the vulnerability of the human heart, the seductive allure of a Cinderella story, and the harsh realities of gullibility in the digital age. As we dissect the narrative, it becomes evident that this is not just a story of a conman's deceit, but also a tale of individuals blinded by the shimmer of a mirage, desperately clinging to the possibilities of a fairy tale ending. Hayut's story is one of meticulous orchestration, where he donned the mask of Simon Leviev, a wealthy, successful, and charming individual. To his victims, he presented a world of luxury and romance, a scenario so intoxicating that it clouded their judgment. The women he conned, including Cecilia Fjellhoy and Pernilla Sjöholm, were swept up in the fantasy of a whirlwind romance. It was a narrative straight out of a modern fairy tale, replete with private jets, lavish gifts, and declarations of love. However, in their pursuit of this dream, they overlooked a fundamental adage: if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. In examining the actions of Hayut's victims, one cannot help but question their gullibility. While it's easy to sympathize with their emotional plight, their willingness to overlook glaring red flags raises critical questions about personal responsibility and discernment in relationships. The decision to extend substantial financial support, often involving large sums of money and indebting themselves, was ultimately theirs. Hayut did not coerce them. He merely presented a facade that they chose to believe and invest in, both emotionally and financially. This aspect of the story highlights a potent blend of desire and naivety. The victims, blinded by the allure of a seemingly perfect partner, ignored the basic principles of caution and skepticism that are crucial in the realm of online dating. Their actions, though driven by emotion, underscore a certain recklessness, a surrender to the fantasy without due diligence. Shimon Hayut's prowess as a con man cannot be understated. He was a master manipulator, skilled in the art of deception. His ability to weave a believable narrative, complete with fake assistants and bodyguards, is a testament to his cunning. Hayut exploited the fundamental human longing for love and connection, using it as a weapon to defraud and deceive. His actions were reprehensible, preying on the trust and vulnerability of his victims. The hard lessons learned, the Tinder Swindler Saga, serves as a stark reminder of the perils of online dating and the importance of maintaining a critical eye. It underscores the need for individuals to protect themselves, not just emotionally but also financially. The story of Hayut and his victims is a modern parable about the dangers of gullibility in the pursuit of love, and the costly consequences of being blinded by the glitter of a fairy tale romance. In conclusion, while Hayut's deceitfulness and manipulative tactics are undeniable, the role of the women in enabling their own victimhood cannot be overlooked. Their story is a cautionary tale about the risks of surrendering to the allure of an illusion, a reminder that in the pursuit of love, one must always tread with caution and skepticism. Thank you for joining me today on Life Points with Rhonda. As we close this episode, remember, if it looks too good to be true, more than likely it could be. It is important to move forward with caution. Never trade your own morals and beliefs for, as Robin Leach would say, champagne wishes and caviar dreams. Like the three women of this tale, you may end up in serious debt chasing a false dollar. And just to think there are more women coming forward. In retrospect, I wonder how many signed up for his business class. Haha. Stay tuned for more discussions on building healthier relationships and leading a more fulfilling life. Until next time, take care of yourself. And if it seems too good to be true, I repeat, it probably is.